My name's McIntyre, and I'm not comfortable. I don't enjoy talking on a microphone. On the property tax levy, there was a couple of things that was just brought up that I want to comment on. When, and I hope that the EAV recovers and starts moving in the other direction. I desperately hope that, and I hope it happens sooner than later. But if it does, Mark, the actuary on the retirement will absorb all of that. So I don't think you should look for it to go down, because we're way behind on meeting our obligations to the pension fund. And if the EAV straightens out, that may save us in future years from a rate increase because of the rebounding of the EAV. So I don't want you to get hope that it would be reduced on that. It's not. And then you ask when the last time local government reduced taxes. That was 1933 as a result of the Association of Real Estate Taxpayers that was headquartered in Chicago and had 300,000 members, and in 1933, which was the Depression years, a $600,000 a year budget to fight high taxes, and as a result, taxes were lowered. That's because everybody quit paying taxes. That really scared the tax collectors when people just quit paying them. And I would suggest people consider doing that now. And maybe we would get the attention not just of this body, but of all the bodies, because everybody is levying for what they got last year. And it's needed. I don't think anybody, I certainly am not going to dispute that it's needed. We've had some hardcore layoffs at this city. We've had reductions in services in this city. And this latest snowstorm, you know, I just thank all of those that put in the time there. It's got to be much more difficult now than it was a couple of years ago, before we had to make those cuts. But if everybody's levying for the same amount, and people's property values are dropping down, and the banks are saying you're upside down and you need to make up the difference, then that increase in rate really places a hardship on our citizens, regardless, Mr. Simpson, of the purpose. It does place a hardship on our citizens. So that's what I want to say on that. On the library, there is a 2-cent building fund in their rate. That was approved in November of 2008. It was approved by this council on November 21st of 2008. It was approved at the library board meeting of November 18th. There was no plan presented to the city council and approved by the city council authorizing the accumulation of those funds. ILCS 75-5/51 says that the library board must present a plan before accumulating funds for your approval. That did not happen. I'm not at all enjoying being at odds with the library. I think we have a wonderful library. I think we have wonderful people that work at the library. But if we're going to allow ourselves to degenerate, to say that good people can ignore the law, then we do not have an overcrowding problem at the jail. We have a lot of people that need to be released, because if you ask their mothers, they're good people. Who makes that call? I don't think that's the intent of the law. I think we need to follow the law. It has been suggested that you can't do anything except approve the levy. That same year, November of 2008, the library asked for a 27.5-cent levy. Alderman Naylor introduced an amendment to that and reduced it to 25 cents. The legal attorney was consulted, and the city attorney was consulted, and the city attorney and the city manager, according to your minutes of November 21st, 2008, said that it is you who sets the rate. You do have the ability. It would be hypocritical if you couldn't. My goodness, what would happen if a bad person got appointed to the library board? You'd have no choice, you'd have to approve it. What would happen if the library says, we need the new library, which is behind all this, so bad that we're going to add $20 million to next year's tax levy? You have no choice. I don't think that's right, and I think it's irresponsible. I asked the city council to reduce this year's library rate by 0.02 cents. That is the building fund that was improperly set. I asked the library to submit a plan to you for your approval and then put it back on there next year. But we sat through what I thought was a rewarding experience when there was controversy over the homeless shelter. There was a lot of misunderstanding, perhaps on both sides. Yet in a public forum, we were able to work out those differences. And I think the community is a lot better off because of it. I think because we brought it up into sunshine and we let people speak their minds, we made the right decision. There's no reason to hide behind closed sessions, as was done with the library. That's read the consent decree issued by Judge Kurt Klein. I'm not making this up. We need to be upfront, open, and transparent. And I know that each of you has said that's what you want. It's time to step up and be that. I ask you to reduce the rate by 2 cents, and I ask for a public hearing on the library's plans, and that the city council follow 75.5.1 and approve plans for any accumulation of funds, any expansion of the existing library, or any plans to build a new library. Thank you.